Five Nights at Freddy's. We all know it. We all love it. And if you clicked on this video, you want to know the lore. And to be honest, I want to know too. I have no clue what I'm doing. We'll start from the beginning. I'm not going over Secrets of the Mimic though. I still don't know what happens. I'll summarize it to what I think happened. I still don't know. We'll be covering FNaF 4, Sixth Location, a little bit of Secret of the Mimic, and a little bit of FNaF 2.
Like 5 hours later from when I recorded that opening, and just finished writing the beginning of the script. As you can see, yep. Not even near done. Anyways, yeah, I just said, yeah, we're gonna be doing a little bit of Secret of the Mimic and a little bit of FNaF 4. Yeah, I lied. This is Secret of the Mimic. Just this is Secret of the Mimic.
Before we start, let's talk about who's in this story. William Afton with his 3 children, Michael Afton, the oldest son, Chris Evan Afton, I'll just say the crying child, Elizabeth the daughter, and the wife, Henry Emily and Charlotte Emily, or Charlie, Edwin Murray and his wife Fiona, David the son, Edwin's father, Edward Sr. Let's start with the lore of Secret of the Mimic. MCN was a mascot and costume workshop owned by Edwin Murray's father. After his father's death, the factory was passed down to Edwin despite him thinking he was not worthy enough to continue his father's legacy. Edwin then had the idea to make his creations into a reality, and so reformed his family's workshop into the widely successful Murray's Costume Manor. A lot of companies, notably Fazbear Entertainment, commissioned different projects, and the building even contained various posters of other companies' locations and mascots like Fredbear's Family Diner. Alright, if you hear like a slight sound, it's because I have my fan on. It's kind of hot in my room right now. It's hot everywhere, to be honest. At some point, Fazbear Entertainment commissioned MCM for the Fazbear Project, which consisted of creating the new animatronic band for the new upcoming pizzeria, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. However, the owners of the company, Henry Emily and William Afton, started changing ideas to the point that there was not enough budget to finish it. However, the owners of the company, Henry Emily and William Afton, started changing ideas to the point there was not enough budget to finish it. They then started to secretly sabotage his company, with William convincing an employee to get info on Edwin's projects and selling some of them to the company. The employee then proceeded to convince other employees to join Fazbear Entertainment. Thanks to the spy, Fazbear Entertainment found out about the Mimic project and wanted it at all costs. Edwin then abandoned the factory, and all the employees eventually left as well. Fazbear Entertainment then started to send teams to get the Mimic project, but M2 killed all of them until Arnold finally downloaded the project, went to the inventor's house, and activated the Cradle.exe program. While M2 was chasing him, the house and factory went up in flames. M2 and various prototypes latch onto Arnold's van as he attempts to escape. While the prototypes fall off the van, the Mimic stays on and successfully crashes it. While Arnold bleeds out to his presumed death, the Mimic grabs the data diver and runs off. Hey, my script doesn't mention it, so I kinda gotta go off script for a little bit, so I will stutter quite a bit. Okay, so before the Mimics were, like, M1 and M2 were made, Fiona dies of something, Edwin's wife Fiona dies of something, I don't know what, and he makes the Mimic program to mimic her. And then when David dies of something, I don't know that either, M1 tells Edwin to make another Mimic to mimic, whatever his name was, David. M2 then actually starts doing its actual job and mimicking David, and because he just lost his child, he gets mad at it because it's mimicking David. And so he beats it until its legs fall off. While making something, Edwin's, like, little place that he works at, his workshop, either something explodes or something catches on fire, I don't know, but eventually he dies that way, and then, yeah. Alright, now's the point after we talk about what happened, that we talk about, like, some key points and some theories and stuff, so let's do that. These are put into a list format, so it's kind of just like, here's this, here's this, here's this, here's this, so please keep up. Edwin created the Mimic programs. There are 2 iterations, and one originally grew up around David and Fiona, but when Fiona died, Edwin implanted the program to create Fiona. I'll put that on screen, it's spelled weird. I am still going to be calling quote-unquote Fiona M1, just so you don't get it mixed up with his alive version of his wife. Okay, it's now reading the notes that I left out quite a bit in my original script. I'm sorry. I'm still gonna list everything here just to clear it up. I hope that helps. Yeah. Edwin, frustrated that he could not create a second mimic, placed M1 in the cradle. I still don't know what that is. The M2 program used the M1 to learn from, and which is eventually started to mimic David. Frustrated again, Edwin tore off its legs and subjected it to violence. After a fire in Edwin's office in which he becomes trapped under rubble, the M2 mimics Edwin, is dismissive of him like how he was to David, and leaves him to die. M2 has the learning from Edwin and David. It is not finished and is trapping David in a violent state. Fiona wishes to help David at any cost. The cradle is Fiona. I know, it's weird. Afton's house was originally Edwin's. Edwin's father built the house. The Pizzaplex is built upon the original ruins of Mary's Costume Manor. We know this, and we think this because they're both really big plots of land, and Afton owns it now because his house is next to it, and he owns it because, and the mimic is trapped down there, even though he ran away. I don't know. Henry, William, and Edwin were all once friends. Afton convinced Henry to betray Edwin due to Edwin's company attracting debt and lawsuits. I'm sorry I had to read it like that. This is like my 6th take of that. I studied so many times. They all have stupid names. Staff leaked, sold, and stole designs from Edwin. William designed Bonnie, Henry designed Freddy, Edwin designed Foxy, Fiona designed Chica. Everyone designed something here. All the animatronics were designed for Fazbear Entertainment and commissioned by Afton and then engineered by Edwin. So even though different people designed everything was still for Fazbear Entertainment. Edwin engineered the Springlock suits based on Afton's designs. MediaCore melodies were originally Edwin's idea, not Henry's. Roxy and Monty were around as early as the 1970s and was designed by Edwin. And Music Man was just like from an entirely different company. It says here Music Man was hired from a separate company. Okay, let's move on to... Yeah, ooh, the new scary background. You like it? It took me forever. You know how hard it is to get blue to red? After MCM burnt down, taking the house with it, the Aftons renovated and moved into the new house. Henry and William took the Springlock designs and finished them themselves, making Fredbear's Family Diner, with characters such as Fredbear and Spring Bonnie, Freddy and the Gang, Marionette, also known as the Puppet. The Puppet was a safety precaution just cause. While Afton was working at Fredbear's, he assigns Michael as a babysitter of the crying child. Michael, being an older brother, bullies and scares the crying child relentlessly. I will be calling him Evan because I can. Michael, knowing that Evan's birthday was soon, bullies him even harder while wearing a fox mask to make him even more scared of the animatronics for his birthday at Fredbear's. On Evan's birthday, Michael and his friends thought of the best way to bully him. They found Evan under a table, lifted him up, carried him to the stage, and Michael and his friends were talking.
Wow, your brother's kind of a baby, isn't he? It's hilarious. Hey guys, I think the little man said he wanted to give Fredbear a big kiss. On 3, 1, 2...
and put Evan in Fredbear's mouth. As Fredbear's performance went on, he closed his mouth as part of the show and... crushed his skull. Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it that way. I hope that lightened the mood for you. I gotta get back into the story, my bad. Later in the hospital, Michael says to Evan,
"Can you hear me? I don't know if you can hear me. I'm sorry."
You know what, Fredbear says stuff, but I hate acting, so I'm just gonna read it in my normal voice. You're broken, we are still your friends, do you believe that? I'm still here, I will put you back together, that's it, blah blah blah. Blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, blah 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 blah. After Fredbear fades to black, Evan starts crying as he too fades away, as we can hear a faint flatline sound. Okay, now that we got the sad thing out of the way, let's go to the little things. You are playing as Michael in the night segments. The survival logbook confirms this as he draws Nightmare Fredbear and a page asking to draw dreams he recently had. Given the context of the logbook, we can assume that he had these dreams somewhere around the time of FNaF 3, which lines up with how Balloon Boy is featured. With how all the animatronics mirror the behavior from FNaF 1 and how the FNaF 1 folk call plays in the background of the nights, Mike's experience with these animatronics has stuck with him and are taking him apart in his nightmare. We can be fairly sure that the nightmares themselves are caused by Nightmare, as we know he is Shadow Freddy and he is positioned / named in the way that implies he's somehow more important or influencing than the other characters. Shadow Bonnie similarly inflicts a nightmare in one of the books. This would also line up with how Shadow Freddy appearing in FNaF 3 as an Easter egg. Evan's death does seem to be a big part of these nightmares for playing in his room, as seen in Sister Location. Our character is betrayed as a kid, and there are some Easter eggs showing hospital stuff on the bed. Most likely, this could be implying Michael's guilt over what he did to Evan is also part of these dreams, Michael putting himself in his brother's place in a way. I keep stuttering, so I'm gonna have to say this slower, my bad. Nightmare Fredbear in particular can be argued to represent this concept overall. Considering his stronger presence, the flatline noise he makes when he's on the bed, his obvious connection to Fredbear, his lines and UCNs being referenced to lines Fredbear said to Evan, except from in his perspective. Now for the Sister Location stuff. We do see the nightmares on the map, though it doesn't fully line up with FNaF 4, like there being 5 plush traps, and Nightmare Fredbear as well as Nightmare Freddy do imply that they were created by William and used to be illusions of some sort. Considering the cameras in the private room, it is very likely William used illusions on the real animatronics to create the nightmares at some point. All we can do is speculate here since nothing is confirmed. I personally believe Michael was the victim of this, since otherwise it would have been weird for Mike to just have dream about random illusions William made. Reminder that illusion discs are not predetermined and rely on your brain's expectations to work, and the 1993 code implies Evan has already died. What we can be sure on is that the illusions William seemingly made were not the nightmares we played through. In FNaF 4, Nightmare Foxy is able to disappear into thin air, Nightmare Fredbear is able to teleport and become a giant head, Freddy is able to manifest from thin air, the Freddles just fly out from under the bed, shining lights or closing doors makes the nightmares just disappear. They are obviously not real, they physically can't be, and the behavior doesn't make sense that way. The illusions are not capable of doing this, especially when we know they're connected to actual robots in some way. Lastly, when it comes to the houses, the house in FNaF 4's mini-games and the house in the gameplay are most likely separate houses. The title screen makes it look like the FNaF 4 house is near trees and Midnight Motorist, which I hate. I'm gonna have some trouble talking about that later. We see the house that is most likely belongs to the Afton family and seems to be in a similar landscape. The layout of either of these don't match up with the house in FNaF 4's minigames, so there are most likely at least 2 houses. As for the Plash Trap room, it's unclear. I said Plash Trap, by the way. I'm so sorry. As for the Plush Trap room, it's unclear. It seems too small to be its own building, and Help Wanted's map features the Plush Trap room as a direct extension of the FNaF 4 gameplay house. To put it simply, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Wow, finally! That took me like 2 days to write the script and record all that, and I still got like the exact... Okay, so everything I read, just double that. That's what I got now, and I still gotta do more for the second part of this. Yes, there are going to be 2 parts. I'm not just going to leave you at the crying child's death. I got to tell you what happens after that, because now it's getting good. Now we getting good. Anyways, yeah, this took quite a while. I'm turning off my fan, actually. Yeah, this took a while, and I don't know how to end this, so I'm just going to end it. I hope you have a pretty good rest of your day, and good night! Tell me why ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why ain't nothing but a mistake. Tell me why I never wanna hear you say I want it